Smith Show right here over the digital airways of YouTube and, of course, iHeartRadio. Earlier this week, I interviewed current UFC bantamweight champion Sugar Sean O'Malley, who will fight Merab Dvalishvili Saturday night at the Sphere in Las Vegas. For those of you who may have missed it, because I haven't shown it to you yet, here it is. Take a look. My guest is the current UFC bantamweight champion of the world and number 6 in the UFC pound-for-pound rankings. He's got a historic match coming up Saturday night at the Sphere in Las Vegas on ESPN+. Please welcome the one, the only, Sugar Sean O'Malley. What's going on, big time? How you doing, man? How's everything?
Everything's going really good. When you're this close to a fight, you're this healthy. It's hard to believe it's true, but it is true. It's happening. I feel good. I'm excited. Ready to go.
Now tell me this, how the hell are you feeling so good and so healthy when you're training, you're putting yourself through the rigors and all of this other stuff, just from a physical perspective? Because you got a lot of folks out there, they get in the gym, they feel a little bit of pain, ain't in any kind of shape whatsoever, and the next thing you know, they're feeling worse than they did before. How do you feel better when you put your body through the rigors that you put yourself through to prepare yourself for championship matchups?
Our bodies adapt very well, and it's been 12 weeks of eating perfect, sleeping perfect, training very hard, but most importantly, training very smart. So, I'm a vet in this sport. I've been doing it for a long time, and I've learned a lot. Each fight camp, I learned something new, and I implement it into this fight camp. And I'm chasing greatness right now, so I have to mark all the boxes.
I got you. You know what? You're going to make history as the first person to fight at the Sphere, taking on Merab Dvalishvili. I believe Dvalishvili is, I think that's how you pronounce his name. All right. How did that happen? How did this fight happen?
Well, Merab's on a 10-fight win streak. He's ranked number 1. He's been ranked number 1 for a very long time. Aljamain Sterling was his training partner and best friend. So Aljamain Sterling was the champ. And I had to mix that up. I had to get in there, knock Aljamain Sterling out cold, drop a couple hammer fists on his head. And then Merab wasn't next. I had to go and take care of some business. I had to go whoop Cheeto's ass in Miami for a little bit. And now here we are. It's the fight that makes the most sense. The Sugar Show versus Merab at the Sphere. It's going to be epic.
I want to know what your mentality. See, this is what I like about you as well. Yeah, you talk, but you back it up. That's all I give a damn about. You back it up. You handle your business. But what I really like about you is that you never get the impression that maybe sometimes we attribute it to Dana White and how he runs the UFC. But I give you fighters credit. I love when I see champions not running from anybody, not procrastinating, not hesitating or anything like that. They've been talking about Merab for the longest time, and now over the last 2 years to be specific, about how he's that dude outside of you. How bad did you want this fight? How hard was it to happen?
The fight was very easy to happen. Merab's next in UFC's eyes and everyone's eyes. Merab is the number 1 guy. I love this fight. I actually was calling out Ilia Topuria, who in my mind, he's the 145-pound champ, is the one of the most scary fights for me right now. I was calling out a guy that I thought was even more scary than Merab. So people were giving me shit saying, no, we want you to fight Merab. I was like, hell yeah, I will. If you guys want me to fight someone who I think is less of a scary fight, I'll take that all day. So the fight was very easy to come together. And Merab's getting whooped in a few days.
When they talk about Merab, they talk about 2 things. Number 1, his wrestling ability. Number 2, how his conditioning is just at an elite level. The motor never stops churning, never stops moving. This guy's got energy all day, every day, et cetera, et cetera. And with you, they just say, he's spectacular, he's a knockout artist, he's box office. But going up against a wrestler, any concern for you in that regard? Somebody that would prefer to grapple as opposed to stay there and try to engage in a striking contest against you?
I would prefer to fight someone whose goal and the only way to beat me is to take me down. That is going to be his downfall. That is how he's going to get knocked out. It doesn't matter how good his cardio is when he's sleeping.
Just that simple, right? Just that simple. So let me ask you this. When you look at him as a fighter, what do you think of him? Break it down for those of us who don't know much about him, haven't seen much from him. Break down his skill set and what you think he brings to the table and why we should be excited about this fight, considering the fact that he's going up against the magnificent Sugar Sean O'Malley.
I'll break down his appearance first. Short, 5'4", ugly, huge nose, just a weird head, very big nose. Just a very ugly guy. Skill set wise, Very dangerous. We mentioned it before, his cardio is it's crazy.
Right.
He's called the machine for a reason. He's got very, very good wrestling. He's good at wrestling into punches, back into wrestling, and that is what makes him dangerous. He's very durable. There's been fights where he gets clipped and comes back and just wins the round. He's a very dangerous opponent, and the more dangerous the guy standing across from me, the better I perform. I'm here for it.
You've avenged a lone loss in your career. He has 4 losses on his resume. When you've seen, I'm imagining that you've seen his fights, particularly the fights that he's lost. What's his weaknesses? What are the kind of weaknesses that he has that you believe is going to be relatively easy for you to exploit?
Yeah, like I said, he's on 10-fight win streak. So those losses were quite a while ago, years and years and years ago. But I believe if I'm faster than the opponent, I will knock them out eventually. I didn't get a knockout in my last fight against Tito. I hit him with some serious shots that did a lot of damage. I wasn't able to get him out of there, but I do believe I will get Merab out of there. I don't think he has the durability of Cheeto, and I'm gonna make sure I get him out of there. I'm gonna do what I do and get it done in 2. I think I'm gonna get him out of there.
This isn't the first time I've interviewed you, but every time I've interviewed you, you remind me of your love for boxing and how you watch the sport. You know a little thing, you know a thing or two about the sport. Canelo Alvarez is going to be fighting Edgar Berlanga at the T-Mobile Arena on the same night. Why should fans tune in or come to see you fight in Vegas instead of the great Canelo Alvarez?
Edward Balaga, who? I have never heard of that guy. To be honest, I'd like it. It's a friendly competition. It's across the street. Canelo Alvarez, pound for pound, probably the best boxer in the world right now. I'm actually a massive fan. I've been throwing a little shade, but it's not personal. I'm a huge fan of Canelo, but I just feel like it's a very. I see all the boxers on Twitter saying that the UFC is fucked because the boxing is going on the same day. I don't think that's the case. I think UFC is going to get more views. And I promise you, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, the rest of that week, they will be talking about the Sugar Show. They will not be talking about the 36-minute boxing match that went on at T-Mobile. They'll be talking about how crazy the Sphere was, how mind-blowing it was. You weren't there. I cannot believe you missed it. If you weren't actually at the event, what Sugar did to Merab was mind-blowing. That's what they're going to be talking about.
So when they they call you Sugar. Why do you love that name so much? Because I never asked you that question. If you have the answer, you've told somebody else to answer, I apologize. I've never seen the answer you gave to being called Sugar and why you love that so much. Tell me why.
Yeah, Johnny Aho, one of my first coaches back in Helena, Montana, where I was born and raised, he gave it to me because I was so sweet to watch fight. He started calling me Sugar. Sugar.
Got you. Well, shoot, you back it up, that's for sure. Sugar Shane Mosley, Sugar Ray Leonard, Sugar Ray Robinson, now Sugar Sean O'Malley. I love it. I love the comparisons as well. You beat Merab. What does that mean for you moving forward? Who would be next on your list?
I got options. The Ilia Topuria fight, he's got to fight Max Holloway in October in Abu Dhabi, which is one of the most exciting fights in my opinion. I'm looking forward to that fight a lot. That's a possibility. Umar Nurmagomedov, Unibrow Umar, he's a possibility. Davison Figueiredo, he moved up from flyweight to bantamweight. He is on a 3-fight win streak. That's a possibility. I like to have options. I might, people hate when I bring up boxing. I don't know if we're there yet, and I'm okay with that. If I need to go knock out 2-3 more guys to get a boxing fight, I'm okay with that. I'll keep doing what I do, but boxing's never out of the picture.
What boxing match do you want?
I wouldn't mind Gervonta Davis. He's just so little. I like my matchup. We're the same weight class. I like that matchup. That'd be one I could pick. If I had to pick, probably him.
And you think you'd beat Gervonta Davis?
I believe I could beat Gervonta Davis, yeah.
They do call him Tank, the brother puts people to sleep. You know that, right? He does what you do. He does what you do, Sean. That's
what makes it interesting. I am, I'm a fan of his skill set. He's very, very dangerous. I'm not denying that. I'm chasing greatness. I believe I could transfer over to boxing very well. Give me 6 months. Give me a legitimate boxing camp, and I'm very dangerous with both hands, left, right, southpaw, orthodox. I believe I can get that job done too.
When you think about the UFC and the state of affairs that exists, one could easily argue that you're one of, if not the most popular UFC fighter in the business at this particular moment in time. Your goal is to win, keep winning, to be a champion, but it doesn't stop there. When we think about somebody that's box office, obviously the name Conor McGregor has come up over the years, even though he hasn't fought in years, and he certainly hasn't won in even a longer period of time. Now we see him acting in Hollywood movies and things of that nature. You look at that and what transpired with Conor McGregor. What do you learn? What do you peel from the experiences you saw him witness in terms of your elevation within the UFC and what you need to continue to do outside of winning, of course?
Yeah, I've learned so much from Conor inside and outside the octagon. Inside the octagon, his presence, his calmness, I've learned a lot from Conor inside the octagon. Outside the octagon, I've learned a lot too. You just got to be careful with how much drugs you do, and try to keep your head on straight. I've learned a lot from watching his downfall. He's been throwing shots at me from pure jealousy, from my perspective. Yeah, I think Conor's a loose cannon right now, and hope he gets help.
What kind of shots has he been throwing at you, and why would he feel the need to throw shots at you? What's that about?
I mean, that would be a good question for him. I don't know. There's, been little tweets here and there, just, pecking and stabbing at me, but I do see it from a jealousy perspective. I really don't know where else it would come from. And people are like, well, I'd Conor be jealous of you. Because I'm the champ. I defended the belt. Something he's never done. I'm fighting. This will be the biggest this will be the biggest gate of all time in UFC history. I am coming for Conor's records. I'm fighting. I'm active. Mm-hmm. I'm what he used to be and what he wants to be still. So, it was kind of random. I never said anything negative about Conor until he started throwing shots. So, right now it's fuck Conor.
Are you of the mindset that as your popularity grows, the UFC would need him less and less and less, and that might be the provocation behind him coming at you like that?
That would be a good guess. I do think. I mean, Conor can come back and fight Michael Chandler and do massive numbers, massive pay-per-view. He's still that guy, but for how long?
And then there's you. Before I let you get on out of here, man, I'm going to ask you another boxing question, somewhat anyway, because I get on Jake Paul. I like Jake Paul a lot, but I want him to fight fighters, like boxers, as opposed to just UFC guys, because he's in the boxing profession. Yeah, he's fighting a boxer this time, but somebody twice his age of Mike Tyson. What do you think about that fight coming up down the road?
Yeah, I've been a huge fan of what Jake's done, from watching him fight Nate Robinson, Ben Askren. I enjoyed that crossover from YouTuber, influencer into the boxing world. I've listened to his story. I've heard him talk about how boxing really truly changed his life. And I agree. I fit that. I don't know what I would be doing without fighting. So I get that on that kind of a level. And I enjoy what he's doing. I enjoy massive fights. Him versus Mike Tyson is hard. It's like kind of hard for your heart, because you just don't want to see Mike Tyson get hurt. And that's where I'm at right now. I love the big fights. I watch every single Jake Paul fight. Good entertainment. Him versus Nate Diaz was electric. It gives me that Conor McGregor vibes. The feeling of a big fight. Right. Those fights give me like that. So, but the Mike Tyson one, same thing. I'll probably be there. I'll watch it 100% like the rest of the world. But it's a thing where it's like I like watching Jake Paul knock people out, but it's Mike Tyson. He's a little bit older, and so it's like it's a tricky one.
One of the last questions before I let you get on out of here. You're part of the new Prize Picks Run Your Game campaign with Drewski and Joe Budden that dropped ahead of the NFL season. Is it true you're obsessed with football? And if so, who's your team?
So growing up, my first dream, my first love was the NFL. I thought I was going to be in the NFL until I realized I'm not big enough to be in the NFL. So that's when I kind of switched over to fighting. But I'm getting back into the NFL, and it feels good. I went and played catch with Kyler Murray, hung out with Marvin Harrison Jr., caught some passes. That was an incredible experience, but I'm back, and and I'm loving on Prize Picks.
By the way, let me transition to this. You co-host the Timbo Sugar Show on YouTube with your head coach, Tim Welch. For those who aren't familiar with it, tell us about that. What do y'all talk about?
Yeah, Tim and I have been running this podcast for 6 years. Every Sunday we shoot a podcast. Very, very consistent. A lot of podcasts hit about 7 or 8 and then start to fall off. We've been doing it 6, coming on 7 years, over 300 episodes. We talk mostly fights, but we also talk about, a lot of healthy stuff, sleeping good, eating good, hydrating, moving your body, staying consistent with working out, just kind of an overall healthy lifestyle podcast. We're also a little bit of dark humor. It's definitely not for everyone. We can make people uncomfortable for sure, but Yeah, a little bit of everything.
I'm scared to ask you this last question, but I have to. I just have to because I'm too damn curious. You have an adult beverage company called Happy Dad. Is that true? What
We
is that?
do.
What is that about? What is that about, Sean?
Happy Dad is absolutely crushing it. Yeah, hard seltzer. If you haven't heard of it, you got to go try it.
All right, man. Well, listen, handle your business. Prediction for Saturday night's fight. What are you predicting?
Rob will go down in 2 is what I'm predicting.
In
It's
2?
trick in 2, indeed. Yeah, I think I'm going to find his chin early. I'm going to find his chin often, and he is not going to be able to handle it. And if he does, it's going to be an ass whooping.
Sugar Sean O'Malley, the bantamweight champion of the world in UFC. Thanks a lot for being on the Stephen A. Smith Show, my man. Good luck, all right? Good luck this week, and you take it easy, all right?
Hell yeah. Good talking. Peace.